My name is Jensen, and 3 months ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life. It started at a friend's sleepover party. We were up late, laughing, eating junk food, and watching videos about the infamous elevator game. Everyone joked about it, daring each other to try it, laughing at how ridiculous it sounded. But while everyone else forgot about it, by morning, I didn't. The idea stayed with me. We lived in an old 13-story building. Our apartment was on the ground floor, and there weren't many residents left in the building anymore. That night, the building was unusually quiet. It was a Sunday. My dad had passed out on the couch after heavy drinking. My mom was staying over at a friend's place. I was alone and curious. That curiosity pushed me out of my apartment and into the dimly lit lobby. Heavy rain battered the windows, and strong wind made the glass rattle every few seconds. My heart was pounding as I walked toward the elevator at the end of the corridor. Should I really do this? I whispered to myself. Oh man, I can't believe I'm actually doing this. I pressed the button. Ding, the doors slid open. I stepped inside and closed them. I won't explain the ritual in detail, because it works, and I don't want anyone else making the same mistake I did. All you need to know is this. After pressing certain floors in a specific order, the final destination is supposed to be the 5th floor. That's where, according to the stories, a woman enters the elevator with you. I followed the steps exactly. The elevator moved. Each floor opened to a dim, empty lobby. When it was finally about to reach the 5th floor, I panicked. Fear overwhelmed me, thinking I still had time to back out. I slammed the stop button. The elevator jolted and stopped between the 3rd and 4th floors. My breathing became shallow and rapid. Damn it, I cursed myself for being so stupid. I quickly pressed the ground floor button, desperate to go back. The elevator began descending. Relief washed over me. Maybe I had broken the chain. Maybe nothing would happen. I was wrong. When the number display reached G, the elevator stopped abruptly with a violent jerk. What the? I whispered, frozen in fear. I thought it had broken down. I reached for the alarm button, but the doors opened on their own. They didn't open to the lobby. They opened to nothing. Pure, endless darkness. No walls, no floor, just black. I mashed the door close button. Nothing happened. Sweat poured down my face. Hello? Is anyone there? My voice echoed back at me, hollow and empty. Then the lights flickered. One by one, they turned on. I was staring at a massive, yellow-walled room with a soggy, wet floor. The air reeked of mold and decay. It looked like an old office back room. Did I reach the basement? I muttered. I had never been there before. Assuming the elevator was broken, I stepped out. That was my second mistake. The space was enormous. No furniture, no tools, no signs of life. As I walked forward, the elevator behind me seemed to shrink, growing farther and farther away. After walking for what felt like forever, I saw her. A woman, sitting on the floor. Her back was facing me. Her body trembled as she cried softly. A chilling, ghost-like sob echoed through the room. You, ma'am? I called. Excuse me? She kept crying. Ma'am, are you okay? Her sobbing stopped. I'm sorry, she said softly. What? Why? I asked. Please, forgive me. My stomach tightened. I don't even know you. Why are you apologizing? Her voice dropped. I'm sorry for wanting to have your blood all over me. My heart sank. Before I could react, she slowly stood up. The lights went out. Holy! Darkness swallowed everything. Then I heard it. A laugh? A twisted, ghostly chuckle. What's happening? I screamed. She was right in front of me. Her body was bent backward at an impossible angle. Her face stared at me upside down. She had no arms, only her upper torso and thin legs. She wore a white dress stained dark. She laughed hysterically. I'm sorry for what I'm about to do to you. Then she ran. Fast. Unnaturally fast. Ah! Here I come! Here I come! She chased me like a broken marionette, her laughter echoing violently. The room shook. The lights flickered wildly. Thick, black liquid began dripping from the walls and ceiling. I ran. My lungs burned. My legs screamed. The entire place felt alive, swallowing me whole. Then, ding. The elevator. I saw it. The doors were closing. You can't escape, she screamed. It's about time, I screamed back at myself. Run, Jensen. You're not dying here. With everything I had left, I lunged forward. By inches, I slipped through the doors. They slammed shut behind me. I collapsed. I don't remember anything after that. 2 days later, I woke up in my bed. My parents sat beside me, terrified. They told me my dad had heard my scream from inside the apartment. When he ran to the lobby, the elevator doors opened, and I was lying unconscious inside. I never told them the truth. I said the elevator malfunctioned. I never mentioned the woman or the yellow back room or what waits beyond the 5th floor. And I never will.
When I was 16, I got my first job as a babysitter. At first, I was excited and proud of myself for being hired so easily. But on my first day, excitement slowly turned into nervousness. My mother noticed it immediately and decided to drop me off herself, hoping it would calm me down. Even though she reassured me the entire way, my anxiety didn't really fade. I was worried about college money, about doing something wrong, and most of all, about the little girl I was supposed to take care of. She had recently lost her father, and I was scared I wouldn't know how to handle that. The house I arrived at was small but cozy, the kind that looked like it once belonged to a happy family. Julia, the girl's mother, opened the door briefly, told me Daisy was in the kitchen, and rushed out in a hurry. I was left alone in the quiet house almost immediately. In the kitchen, I found Daisy, a 6-year-old girl with long blonde hair, struggling to pour orange juice into a cup. She barely acknowledged my presence and avoided eye contact. Her coldness made me uncomfortable, and I worried she didn't like me. When I tried to talk to her, she answered minimally and showed little interest in anything around her. While sitting together, she suddenly mentioned that she was sad because someone named Jerry had died. For a brief moment, panic washed over me until I realized Jerry was her goldfish. She explained how her mother had flushed the fish down the toilet because it was dead. But Daisy believed the fish had only been playing a trick. Just as quickly as her sadness appeared, it vanished. She became cheerful again, excited because her mother had promised her a new pet. The sudden shift in emotions left me unsettled. Over the next few days, I continued babysitting Daisy. On one visit, Strange squeaking sounds led me to the living room, where I found Daisy squeezing her hamster far too tightly. The animal was clearly suffering. When I gently took it from her hands and showed her how to hold it properly, Daisy watched closely, almost fascinated. She revealed she had named the hamster Hate because she didn't like it. The way she spoke about the pet made me uneasy, especially when she calmly accepted the idea that it would eventually die, just like her previous pets. A few weeks later, Julia called to tell me that the hamster had died. She brushed it off casually and mentioned she had adopted a cat to replace it. That call sent a chill through me, though I couldn't fully explain why. The next day, when I arrived at the house, Daisy was nowhere inside. After searching every room, I noticed her outside in the backyard. Relief washed over me until she turned around. Daisy was covered in blood. In her hand was a knife, and at her feet lay the lifeless body of the cat, mutilated beyond recognition. She spoke cheerfully, listing the deaths of her pets, and even her father, as if they were all part of the same pattern. She believed that when something died, her mother would simply replace it with something new. Julia arrived moments later. Despite the horrifying scene, she refused to acknowledge that her daughter had done anything wrong. Instead, she blamed me for overreacting and fired me on the spot. Still in shock, I left the house and got into my mother's car, unable to explain what I had just witnessed. Even now, the memory of Daisy's smile haunts me. More than anything else, I can't stop thinking about how desperately I hope that girl never gets another pet.
I started babysitting back in high school to earn some extra cash. This was long before smartphones and social media. Back then, the most advanced phone you could own was a flip phone. I grew up in a quiet suburban town where nothing ever really happened. My father was a local sheriff, and he often complained about how boring his job was. Crime was almost non-existent. Because of that, babysitting was considered one of the safest and fastest ways for teenage girls like me to make money. I never imagined how wrong that assumption could be. One afternoon, I was walking home with a friend, chatting about typical high school nonsense. The streets were calm, with only a few people passing by. As we walked, I noticed a bulletin board on the sidewalk. In small towns like ours, bulletin boards were used for everything: grocery store discounts, salon advertisements, missing pets, garage sales. One flyer caught my attention. It was old and yellowed, barely hanging on with rusted pins. Babysitter, wanted for a toddler. Contact 927-0086. Judging by its condition, the flyer had been there for a long time. Still, curious and tempted by the idea of extra money, I saved the number in my phone. That evening, I decided to call. The phone rang for a few seconds before someone finally picked up. "Hello?" a man said in a low, strained voice. It sounded like he was sick or in pain. "Hi," I replied nervously. "I saw your babysitting advertisement. Are you still looking for someone?" "Yes," the man said. "It's for my little son. Are you free tomorrow evening?" "Yes, sir." He gave me the address and asked me to arrive by 7 p.m. the next day. I went straight to the house after college. It was located on the outskirts of town. A wooden house. Isolated, quiet. The porch light flickered weakly as I stepped onto it. The silence felt heavy, unnatural. I rang the doorbell. The door creaked open on its own. I jumped slightly until I saw a small boy standing there. He looked frail and underfed, with wide, tired eyes and a thin frame. "Hi," I said gently. I'm Ellie. Are your parents home? My mommy left with the angry man, he said quietly. Daddy is sick. Who are you? I'm here to babysit you, I replied. From somewhere inside the house, I heard the same weak voice from the phone call. Ted, let her in. The boy looked at me again, then stepped aside. Please, come in. He looked no older than 3, yet his face carried a sadness no child should know. The house smelled stale. Dirty dishes filled the sink. Dust covered the furniture. It looked like no one had cleaned in days. At the end of the living room, a bedroom door stood slightly ajar. That's Daddy's room, Ted whispered. He hasn't come out since Mommy left. I walked to the door and knocked softly. Sir, I'm Ellie. We spoke on the phone. Are you okay? I'm fine, the man replied. I need privacy and rest. Please make some food for my son. He hasn't eaten in 2 days. Then call my mother. Her number is in the phone directory. Mrs. Martha Saunders. She will come take him. My heart sank. Before I could ask anything else, he added, There's an envelope in the cabinet. Take $50 for your work. In the kitchen, I found only one thing. A packet of ready-to-cook pasta. The sink was overflowing with unwashed dishes. It was clear no one had used the kitchen in days. I cooked the pasta and fed Ted. He ate like he hadn't seen food in forever. That broke something inside me. After dinner, I gave him a bath. As I helped him undress, I noticed bruises all over his back. What happened to you? I asked, horrified. I hate the angry man, Ted whispered. I hate Mommy too. They made Daddy sick. My throat tightened. I cleaned him, dressed him, and tried to distract him. You look very handsome, I said. Want to show your dad? Ted froze. His face turned pale. We shouldn't go to Daddy's room, he said quietly. Why? I asked. He doesn't blink, Ted whispered. His lips don't move. He just stares, and a voice comes out. My blood ran cold. Ted continued. That night, Mommy and the angry man fought with Daddy. After they left, Daddy stayed like that. He told me to wait for the babysitter. I ran to the bedroom door and pushed it open. The smell hit me first. Rot. Death. On the bed lay a decomposing body. Stab wounds covered his stomach. Dried blood soaked the sheets. His eyes were wide open, staring. I screamed and collapsed in the living room. Vomiting, Ted cried, clinging to me. Please don't leave me alone, he begged. I hugged him tightly and called 911. And his grandmother. The truth shocked the entire town. Ted's mother had been having an affair with a drug dealer. They demanded money. When Mr. Saunders refused, the man stabbed him to death. They fled, leaving Ted alone with his father's corpse. Ted lives with his grandmother now. He smiles again. The last time I visited, she handed me $50. My son promised you, she said softly. I believe his spirit stayed to protect Ted until help arrived. I still don't know if what I heard that night was real. But even now, I remember how clearly Mr. Saunders spoke to me from beyond the grave.